Hi, my name is Greg Pallia. I'm with the West Roofing Systems, and welcome to another edition of Whiteboard Roofing. In today's episode, we're going to talk about 6 reasons why some commercial roofing quotes are higher than others. Reason number 1 is wet insulation removal. Some ethical contractors, they'll notice that they'll identify wet insulation on a roofing system. No, it's a bad thing because it'll cause future leaks or future blisters through the roofing membrane. Um, so they identify those and remove those. That could be, 20% of a commercial roof, could be 30% of a roof, could be 0%. But it's a huge cost when someone's offering to do that, the right thing, versus someone who's going to completely skip that. A lot of labor involved, a lot of new materials involved. It's just an unethical ethical thing to do. So watch out for that thing right there. Another thing is recommending or automatically recommending a complete tear off. When you get a quote from someone, look at the scope of work and ask them, why are you ripping this whole thing off? Can we restore this? Is restoration with silicone coating an option, or leave it all up there and spray foaming it? Is that an option? Or what evidence or what options, why are you telling me it's a complete tear off? Some companies automatically do that because it's a higher paying job. Some offer restoration, just something to do some more research on your own and get some answers, because you could be spending a lot more money than you don't need to. Second thing is travel costs. We typically work, not typically work, but we work out of state a lot. The reason is because we have experienced workers. We do spray polyurethane foam. It's a hard system to install. Our guys have been around for a long time. We offer warranties, etc. Usually it's additional 5 to 10% cost of a project. Um, why would you hire someone right down the street if there's any possibility that that roof's not going to be installed, right? They might have inexperienced workers, don't have access to the same products and equipment that other manufacturers do. But just be aware that if you're going to use someone out of state and they charge 5 to 10% more, it's really not a bad thing. There's reasons why, because the labor cost, gas, hotel stays, etc. But it's worth it if you're going to get an installation done right. Third thing is experienced workers. Don't really have to beat this one too much, but experienced workers, they cost more. And that's a good thing because you want your roof to be installed right, not be a guinea pig on someone trying to learn this for the first time and they're doing their tests on your roof. The fourth thing is access to top of the line materials and equipment. All the manufacturers that we buy foam and coatings for, there's testing. We have to be approved installation of their materials. You can't just call them up and just buy it. So you have to be thoroughly trained, have a good track record, because they want to make sure that if you're installing that product and you're going to give a customer a 20-year warranty, it's going to last 20 years. Sorry, excuse me. So just access different materials. If a contractor, I've seen scope of work where the contractor doesn't even tell the customer what brand of product they're going to be installing. Yes, we're going to put a coating on there. Really, that's it. They don't say anything else about what brand it is, how thick, etc. Just a kind of a crazy thing out there, but definitely a cost measure for someone who's installing top of the line stuff that's hard to get access to, versus someone who's going to any big box store and buying coating off the wall or whatever it might be. The fifth thing is the learning curve for installing certain roofing systems. Um, Nothing against single ply membranes, but I don't think the learning curve to install that correctly is as difficult to than installing spray polyurethane foam. There's pressures, heating, thickness levels, passing lines. There's a lot of science that goes into installing spray polyurethane foam, as opposed to single ply membranes. But that added training, it just goes down the line and makes the project cost more down the road. But could be a way to distinguish certain scopes of work and why one costs more than another. And the last thing is material versus labor costs. On a typical single ply membrane installation or metal roof or any traditional roofing system, 60% of that project cost goes towards labor, 40% towards material. As a flip side, spray polyurethane foam, 60% of the costs, of the total project that you're going to pay, goes into the materials that are going on the roof. They're going to stay on there all day long for 20 years. 40% goes into labor. Those are all approximate numbers, but why would you want to have any percentage going into labor when it's just going to run off the roof in 2 weeks when the project's done? I'd rather have the majority of the cost go into the materials and it be on there for 20 years. That's really it for today. I hope you learned at least one thing new. For any more explanation on any of these 6 reasons, there's a URL to the blog post. But thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.